Ma'am, two things. One, why would you put yourself and your children in that situation? Why would you let your children be roaming around in filth just to irritate some man? And two, if you think he cheating, he is. Because it doesn't matter. You've lost trust at that point. If you believe you got to look through his phone, if you believe he's cheating, if some woman calling you, quote unquote, because this is the new thing, I don't know, coming to you, quote unquote, as a woman, you already know he's cheating. Ma'am, how do I say this the best way so I don't get taken off the bench? Penises are everywhere. If that's what you're looking for, you don't have to have a baby with one. You're before the court on case 2024 CR 02109 for Securia D. Randall. You're represented by the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis, Miss Chelsea Hahn. You're charged with battery, family violence, count 1, battery, count 2, simple battery, family violence, count 3, and simple battery, count 4. Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand out. Miss Hahn.
Should I go back on mute?
No, ma'am, just stay unmuted. We're gonna need you.
Okay.
Miss Hahn, what does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Your Honor, she would like to enter a plea of guilty to count 1. I believe the remaining charges would merge.
Okay. By entering a plea of guilty to count 1, counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge. You give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
I do.
All right. Factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The factual basis of this case was that on August 29, 2022, Officer Santos responded to a domestic disturbance at 681 Flint River Road here in Clayton County. Upon arrival, the officer met with Miss Securia Randall at the front door, who stated that she had been in an argument with her boyfriend, Mr. Terry Stuckey, over her inability to find her wallet. The officer saw that the floor was covered with trash and random food items. When asked why all the trash was on the floor, she stated that she did it while she was looking for her wallet, but that she also had turned over all of the trash and had dumped food items such as vinegar, flour, and other items on the floor because she knows that Mr. Stuckey likes to live in a clean place and she wanted to aggravate him. The officer then spoke with Mr. Stuckey, who's also confirmed that there was an argument. And while the officer was there, they started to argue again. Eventually, he was able to calm them both down and suggested that they separate for the evening, since nothing had actually occurred in the house. But to keep tensions low, they should separate for the night. After the officers left, another 911 call came from that incident address. Officers went back to the location and met again with Mr. Stuckey. However, this time when they saw him, they observed a cut on the left side of his head and a scratch under his left and right eye, another scratch on his forehead above the eyebrows. When asked about the injuries, the victim stated that Ms. Stuckey had assaulted him after another argument. In regard to him leaving the home, and the officer also spoke with their children who were in the house, but did not witness or hear any altercations but then they were not able to tell the officer how the injuries occurred. Based on the disorganization of the house, the food items on the floor, and the injuries that they observed, they determined that Ms. Randall was the primary aggressor and took her into custody. The state's recommendation on this case on count 1 is 12 months to serve 30 days. The balance to be probated, a $400 fine, 40 hours of community service, a family violence intervention program, and no contact with Mr. Stuckey. Counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge.
All right, so I have 12 months, 30 days, balance probated, $400 fine, FVIP, 40 hours of community service, and no contact.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Hahn.
Yes, Your Honor. We're asking that Miss Randall have time to turn herself in on this Friday and that she do weekends.
All right,
And then other than that, I did just want to put on the record that I did discuss the potential for an immunity motion with Miss Randall. She let me know that that may be an issue that could have come up. However, with the pending bond revocation, she decided that she wanted to go ahead and resolve the case. So we just ask that you accept the negotiated plea.
Ms. Randall, I'm not a doctor, but I do count 40 weeks gestation, and then you got a 4-month-old. So unless you got pregnant by somebody else the day you got arrested on the second case, that's Mr. Stuckey's baby. But you don't have to confirm that for me. What I want is for you to stop putting yourself in the same situation over and over and over again. You and Mr.
Yes,
Stuckey
ma'am.
y'all don't do well together. Y'all make babies and then fight. It doesn't make any sense.
No, we were
no,
together
ma'am, no,
14 years.
no, I don't want to talk about it. It doesn't make any sense for y'all to keep coming back and forth with this foolishness. Now, why make your life harder? It just doesn't make any sense. First of all, people always want to have a baby when they can barely take care of the babies they already got or barely take care of themselves. And then once they finally get a good job, they're going to mess it up by not reading the paperwork that the court gives you that tells you exactly how not to mess up your life. Stop making your life hard, ma'am.
You're right.
Oh, I'm clear. Because the very, I'm gonna tell you the phrase that makes the most sense to me. People look like the choices they make. Everything that happens in your life is because of the choices you make. But the problem that I have with it is you and Mr. Stuckey are good and grown, but you're making choices on behalf of 6 little babies who don't have the ability to make any different kind of choice. They don't have the ability to say, I don't want to live here in foolishness. They don't have the ability to say, I need more than you're able to provide for me. And as long as you keep having babies, that's less for me. They don't have the ability to say that, but I can say it for them. Stop making your children's lives hard. Everybody, you don't have to keep having babies. I promise you. Condoms are cheaper than child support or child care. You don't have to make the decision that every time y'all get back together, there's another baby coming. Take care of the babies you got. Get yourself on your feet and stop going back into foolishness. Anytime you're in a situation where you get arrested or the other person gets arrested, that's not a good situation, even if it only happens one time.
And Your Honor,
and hold on, Ms. Hahn.
Yes, Your Honor.
And this whole thing of he likes a clean house, so I'm gonna throw all the stuff around just to irritate him. Ma'am, 2 things. One, why would you put yourself and your children in that situation? Why would you let your children be roaming around in filth just to irritate some man? And 2, if you think he's cheating, he is. Because it doesn't matter. You've lost trust at that point. If you believe you got to look through his phone, if you believe he's cheating, if some woman calling you, quote unquote, because this is the new thing, I don't know, coming to you, quote unquote, as a woman, you already know he's cheating. What you need to do is go to the Superior Court, get your paperwork for child support, custody, visitation, all of that stuff so that y'all can deal with each other as co-parents. But stop going back into the lion's den. You feel me? Because the decisions you are making with this whole, I love him, I got to go back with him, even though you know it's not a good situation, you're harming your children. You and Mr. Stuckey are grown, but you're harming your children. I need you to make better decisions. Now, where's this job you work?
So I work at Georgia Tech.
What you do?
The I'm a banquet director.
Okay. That's skills.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do hair too. I do braids and stuff.
Okay, and you gotta hustle. See, I'm gonna tell you. First of all, a
Mhm.
lot of times women are doing the most. You got 6 kids and you got a job and a hustle. I don't know. I'm gonna just assume, but it don't sound like Mr. Stuckey kicking in like that. So if you already doing all of that and he's not, what you need him for? I'm just asking. What you need him for? What is he contributing to your life? He keep leaving you with babies, more stuff that you got to take care of, but you the one with the job and the hustle, and he just out here on a lamb. Ma'am, how do I say this the best way so I don't get taken off the bench? Penises are everywhere. If that's what you're looking for, you don't have to have a baby with one. But if he's not contributing to your household or to your children or to you, then you don't need him. You about to spend 30 days in jail over some foolishness for a man who's not even helping you. There's no help coming from him. You fighting for something that ain't even worth fighting for. Let that other woman have him. When he start paying her child support, she'll see. You feel me?
I do.
You fighting for something worthless instead of
Mhm.
fighting for your children to make sure they have a better life. All right. Now, what were you saying, Ms. Hahn?
Yes, Your Honor. I apologize for the interruption. I did fail to mention that Miss Randall and I had discussed her converting the $400 into community service.
That's fine.
Okay, and then the other thing was we were asking that you that she I can't get my words together, that she not pay the probation supervision fees. She told me she makes about $8.25 an hour, and
I
she's
got it.
yeah.
And you have 6 kids.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. But
How
I
old is your-
work like 10 and 14 hour shifts. My oldest, she's 12.
Okay. All right. Now, Miss Randall, the other thing, don't keep stacking babies. The ones you
Mhm.
got need your attention, but every time you add another baby, that divides and you give less attention to the ones who are already here.
Yeah,
Your
my mom said
12-year-old girl is about to go into a very crucial stage in her life. When girls go into middle school, that's when we really have to keep an eye on them, because that's when they can be tracked from academics and sports into boys and
Mhm.
how I look and what I
Mhm.
got to have hair, nails, and all of that. And then they start to drop off. And you want to make sure academics and sports and that kind of stuff is the focus that your 12-year-old has in middle school.
Yes.
But every time you add a baby, you got less time to spend with the ones who are already here.
Mhm. That's true.
Okay. So it's a different mindset. It's a different way of thinking.
Mhm.
So, I'm going to accept your plea of guilty to count 1. Counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge. I'll send you to 12 months to serve 30 days on the weekends. And you'll start. Did you want to start? She wanted to start this weekend or next weekend?
Your Honor,
Next weekend.
if the court is agreeable to next weekend, that's when she would like.
The 26th?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So you'll turn yourself in at 6 p.m. on Friday, the 26th, and you'll get out on Sunday at 6 p.m., okay?
Okay. And what time that was again on Friday?
6 p.m.
So
You'll
I
be
can
at the
write it
jail.
down.
I'm sorry? 6 p.m.?
No, I just said so I can write it down. Write down.
Okay. And then you'll do you'll do 80 hours of community service. So I'm converting the 40 hours into the $400 fine into 40 hours of community service. You'll do a family violence intervention program, which is 24 classes. And then you'll have no contact with Mr. Stuckey except through the courts or child support enforcement. So if he has a child support enforcement case, you can do that. If he's sending money to you without anything else, no baby, 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 I love you, Don't put child support on me, none of that. He can send money to your address for the children, but you're to have no contact with him, or you can go to Superior Court and petition for a visitation, custody, child support, all of that, all of those orders that make it clear how you and Mr. Stuckey are to interact about your children, okay? So, but please be mindful
Okay.
that you don't want to have any contact other than that with him. We clear?
Yes. Question, can I reach out to his mom and she can maybe cash out me those payments?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that
I'll
okay?
give you that.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So you can reach out to his mom, but don't pass messages on to him. It's just about the child support.
Mm-hmm. Through
Okay?
cash app.
Yes, ma'am. So, and that's fine with me. I don't care how you, I just want you to get some child support. But I'm just saying, Miss Randall, sometimes we fight so hard for something before we realize it wasn't worth the fight. Just saying. All right. So I'm going to put you in a breakout room with probation. I will waive the supervision fees because you got a lot going on. This, I want you to understand completely. If you are unable to do any of what I asked you to do, go to your probation officer and tell them the difficulty that you're having. They're here to make sure that you successfully complete. Okay. So if they don't know, they can't help you. If they don't know, they can't come to me and ask me to make adjustments. They don't know, they can't do any of those things to assist you. So the two things is, if you can't do what I asked you to do, tell your probation officer. And if you fail to report, that's the quickest way to get rearrested. Do you understand?
I do.
Got a report for your probation. So tell them what your work schedule is. Tell them if you got transportation issues. Be mindful and tell them of all of those things. You understand?
Okay. Okay. I may have a transportation issue depending on the location.
Okay. Well, share that with probation.
Okay.
All right. Now, Miss Randall, let me tell you something. You went out and got a job and a side hustle. You making it happen for your family. If somebody is not bringing the same or more to the table and treating you and your children right, you don't need them. Okay? Stop accepting less than you worth. If you don't have a man who's out there with 2 jobs and a side hustle, you don't need him. You got me?
I do.
All right. All right. So I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Miss James.